Excited to fire some bets back up here for the fine people out there. And Steve, I want to start with the ATS and moneyline market. This is a spread I'm afraid to pick. Honestly, I'm not picking a game pick here, but you're intrigued specifically by the Eagles getting 1.5 points down here in the Bayou. What are you seeing from them, and why are you taking a shot at them for -110 at DraftKings?
Yeah, I also want to take a moment and talk about our opening video for Between Bets. That person has never played craps before in their life. I don't know how to play craps, but I know you got to throw those dice against the wall, and they kind of just like threw it right in front of them. So I have a little problem with that. But the Eagles plus 1.5 points is -110 on DraftKings. I just think the Eagles are the better team. I think they're the better team this year. I think it's finally time anyone, they got to take down the Chiefs, right? They came up just short. So close before. And you know what, man? I know they're not the Lurs, but they are a Pennsylvania team. So I have to think in your heart you are rooting for them. Yes?
Yeah. Fiance's an Eagles fan. Her whole family's Eagles fans. My uncle is. So unlike Kyle, I root for all Pennsylvania teams. Not like I'm not a bandwagon fan or anything, but if a Pennsylvania team is winning,
it is your home team.
Yeah,
it's a much more home team than the Kansas City Chiefs, who are obviously from Missouri, right? So,
sure.
And I like your fiance. Your fiance is wonderful. I'm a big fan, so I'll root for the team that she wants to win. One of my best friends in the world is a huge Eagles fan, and you know what? We need someone other than the fucking Chiefs, man. I just can't do it. I do think they're the better team. I think top to bottom, this team is better. The running game is going to be the difference. Saquon Barkley is unstoppable. And man, I thought the Commanders were going to put up a fight. This team beat the brakes off the Commanders. The Chiefs don't beat the brakes off anyone. They win in these infuriating ways.
Yeah. Yep.
Like
missed kicks, penalties.
Mark Andrews forgetting how to hold on to the ball.
Not spotting the ball correctly on fourth down.
There's a lot of weird fuckery going on with the Chiefs that I don't think they're as good as even getting to the Super Bowl. I am surprised they're in the Super Bowl. The Eagles are beating teams and beating them bad. They are stomping teams into dust. Saquon Barkley does not look human right now. And then you add to that sure, you could take away A.J. Brown, but you got Devonta Smith. Sure, you could take away Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown, but you still have Dallas Goedert to deal with in the passing game, right? This team is deep. The defense, that defensive line. If Patrick Mahomes has a weakness, we've seen it when he's lost Super Bowls. It's because of pass rush. If you can pressure Mahomes and stay true to your gaps, stay true to your assignments, your containment on the outside. And now the Eagles have Jalen Carter up the middle.
Right.
So now you have Josh Sweat on one side. I'm forgetting the pass rusher on the other side. That's coming. Is it Reddick?
You'll get Milton Williams, and then also at the same time, you're also potentially going to see Brandon Graham back. We're not 100% sure on his stats.
You're collapsing the pocket from the outside, and you have Jalen Carter with the push from the interior, and that interior pass rush is so important. You have Bond as one of your leaders at the linebacker position. Darius Slay is still an elite cornerback in this league. And then you add the two rookies in who are playing out of their mind good cornerback right now. The only place the Chiefs are better than the Eagles is at the quarterback position.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't see how the Eagles don't win this game. The better team should win this game. If the better team doesn't win this game, I'm going to throw myself into the fucking river outside of my apartment because I will not listen to this Mahomes is better than Brady slander. I won't do it. I won't hear of it. Let me say this about that. Now I'm on it. Now I'm mad. Now I'm mad. Mahomes had his chance to prove that he was better than Brady. Right? He was at the peak of his powers. He was already Patrick Mahomes. He went up against Brady as a Patriot. Brady beat him in Kansas City. And then he went up against old man Tom Brady on the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. And he had his... It was right there, ripe for the taking. the football gods put it on a platter and said, Patrick, take it. And Tom Brady beat the shit out of Patrick Mahomes. Don't come at me with this Patrick Mahomes is better than Tom Brady. Don't put up a different world. They're like, oh, in his first 7 seasons as a starter, look at the numbers. It's a different world. Don't come at me with that.
Yeah,
Tom Brady transcended football. He said, I'm done dominating in this conference. I'm going to go win a Super Bowl in that conference. Like, I'm going to leave the greatest coach of all time. I'm going to go over there to a team that is just perpetually fine.
Yeah, right.
They were 9-8 the season before, or 8-9 the season before.
Right. Jameis
had a great statistical season.
30 for 30, baby. Yeah. Steve, I'm with you here. I do think the Eagles are the better team. What concerns me from the Chiefs is they've stabilized the offensive line a little bit by kicking Tooney out to offensive tackle. So I think that does help, but I think Jalen Carter up the middle scares me now that you don't have Tooney playing guard. So I think maybe we see a little bit of a break in that. I'll talk about kind of where I think that could lead to from a prop perspective later on, but I think you might be on the right side of this, but just history it's hard for me to bet against the Chiefs, right? That's where this comes back to me. So I'm not on, a game pick for this game. It's too close for me, but I completely understand where you're going from. I want to jump to the total market where you're also on the under 48.5 points. What are you kind of seeing out of here? This a score last time. Both these teams were in the 30s when they played together in the Super Bowl, but very different teams now, very run-oriented on both sides of the ball. Saquon Barkley, as you mentioned, just an absolute clinic this season, 2,000 total yards on the ground. And then in addition to that, Kareem Hunt's been a guy that the Eagles, with him and Pacheco, are kind of just going back and forth with.
Yeah. So this time, these teams, when they met in the Super Bowl last time, were offensive juggernauts. That's what they hung their hats on. This season, they are both leaning on their defense, and Philadelphia is leaning on Saquon Barkley. Now, here's the problem. Here's where this bet may not hit. Saquon Barkley took his first touch 60 yards for a touchdown in the conference championship. If Saquon Barkley gets going, here's the thing, right? The Eagles have shown, like they did against the Commanders, they are not going to sit and let you hang around. They want to step on your throat. They want to score points. But this is not a big offensive team, right? Like they are and they aren't. They want to control the ball. The best way to win is to keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands, put up enough points that you're ahead, and then you just kill the clock, right? Because you don't want him to have the ball with one possession because it's just going to turn into fuckery. I think these teams are going to come in. They're going to play so hard. And these defenses are proud defenses. These teams are built on the backs of their defenses. I just don't think it's going to be that high scoring of a game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles win this game, and I do think they're going to, I think it's going to be by a solid margin. I don't think it's going to be a 3-point game. I think it's going to be like a 10-point, 14-point win.
Yeah, because Chiefs don't lose close games, right? Like
they don't lose close games; they lose big. Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised to see another repeat of like that Tampa Bay Super Bowl, where Mahomes just can't get it going. The wide receivers can't get open. It's hard for them to move the ball down the field. You almost are guaranteed that Travis Kelce is going to be double teamed this entire game, and I just don't see like Xavier Worthy. Thank you. Getting as open as he's been. I see the Eagles coming in with a defensive game plan that's similar to what Todd Bowles did a few years ago.
And Worthy's been running a lot of the slot the last couple weeks, and that's a place where Cooper DeJean's kind of made his mark as a nickel cornerback in this league so far.
And DeJean's fast.
Oh, yeah. And the trends are supporting you on the under here, Steve. Currently, Philadelphia 11-9 to the under this season, 55% of their games going towards that under. Kansas City 11-8 to the under this season, 57.9% of the time as well. I do think we see at least 40 points in this game. I'll talk about that later in my parlay of the week, but I think 48.5 is a big number. Again, I'm going to stay clear of this just because this is something that they could start trading shots at some point, kind of like how the Chiefs and Buffalo game went down towards the end of that. But Absolutely. I think you're on the sharp side of this once again. I would like to go to the player prop market here. I got a couple for y'all. And I want to go to Patrick Mahomes over on his rushing yards first, 28.5 rushing yards for Mahomes. And look, I kind of talked about how I believe Jalen Carter is going to be a huge cog to this up front defensive front for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think he's going to flush Mahomes out of the pocket. I think Mahomes is going to have to run. And the reason I like this 28.5 line over our friends from FanDuel right now is Patrick Mahomes in his 4 Super Bowl appearances, he's averaging 43 rushing yards per Super Bowl. He's hit this over in all 4 of them. Coming off a game where he just rushed for 43 yards on 11 attempts, I like him to do it again. When the game's on the line, he boots, scoots, and boogies with the best of them. So give me Patrick Mahomes over 28.5 rushing yards. I'm going to stay kind of in that quarterback market, Steve. I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. I think coming off a game with 3 rushing touchdowns and scoring on the ground in 2 straight games, and in 7 of the last 11 games, also 7 in the last 10 games and 11 in the last 15 games, 73% of them. I was expecting to get Jalen Hurts anytime TD, like minus 125, minus 130, I thought would be a fair number. So minus 110, not have to pay much. Number. Yeah, to not have to pay much juice. Like, keep in mind, the last time he faced Kansas City in the Super Bowl, he scored 3 rushing touchdowns, one very early on in that game because it was part of my parlay that I cashed that day, I remember. So that was before Saquon Barkley, but I still think he can pop one in with a tushy potentially as well. So the cool thing about getting this at minus 110 at DraftKings, Steve, they're also offering a 100% TD free bet right now as well. So whatever your unit size is on DraftKings that you're usually playing, they'll offer you. It's not like a no sweat bet. It's, hey, if you're betting $10 on a touchdown market, they're going to give you $10 in bonus bets right back to you right away, whether you hit it or not. Wow. So that's a great offer. That's we actually great. Yeah, if you guys want to get invested with DraftKings, we actually have a link in the bio or in the description of this episode. So make sure you guys are supporting them over there. I'm going to put this together now in a parlay. This is my Seth's something to talk about parlay because we're going to give them something to talk about. We're going to give them something to talk about. Talk about love, Steve. Talk about love, baby. Jalen Hurts, anytime touchdown, minus 115. Patrick Mahomes, over 28.5 rushing yards, minus 110. I'm taking the over 39.5 at minus 390. Put these legs together. It's plus 290 over at FanDuel. The last 5 Super Bowls, including 4 with the Chiefs, have gone over 40 points. 10 last 12 also gone over 40 points. So I'm going to take that alt line on that over of 39.5. I'm going to put that together, my 2 favorite player props. I'm going to get my plus 290 payout over at FanDuel. Let's cash, baby.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So two other ones. I'm not going to go into any explanation, but just a couple rapid fires for you guys that I'd watch out for. Dallas Goedert, Kansas City, very leaky to the tight end position. One of the most fantasy point friendly positions they've been giving up this year. So I do like him. Also, I'm kind of trying to figure out what I want to do with Kareem Hunt, whether I want to take his potentially a rushing over on his yards or his carries. So those are 2 other guys I like. Steve, you're kind of taking a page out of my book, though. You're like, hey, fuck this all. I'm not getting cute. I'm going to take the best player on the field to do some damage here. You like Saquon Barkley over 109.5 rushing yards, minus 110 at FanDuel Sportsbook. What are you seeing over there, man?
Yeah, doesn't it feel like he's going to rip off like an 80-yarder in this game? Like, don't you just feel that like in your bones?
Maybe. I also, you're talking about the guy who had the 123.5 last week. And
I thought that was high. Well, I thought that was so high.
I know, but
that's a number.
He ripped off a gainer he ripped off a 65-yarder the first time he touched the ball and still didn't get it.
Exactly. But 123 is so high because that is a number where you cannot get there and still have a great game. 109.5, that's just what he's going to do, right? Like, it's just he's that good. And the Chiefs aren't the best against the run. Like, they're good, but they're not, like, elite. They're much harder to throw against than they are to run against. And it's just numbers, man. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Saquon touches the ball in the run game 25 times.
He's hit it. He's hit this prop in 8 of the last 10 games, too. So,
that's 80%. Of the time he's doing this, and it's still minus 110. I don't understand it. but I'm taking it happily because I do think Saquon is the best player in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
And the cool thing about the FanDuel offering too, like it's 3 yards shorter than everyone else, right? You're getting 109.5. You only need 110. Everywhere else is right around 113. So yeah, the Chiefs have been good against running backs. I will say that Chris Jones has been stuffing people up the middle. So I think we're gonna have to see some more stretch plays, potentially some more toss plays as well. Finding different ways to get the ball in Saquon Barkley's hand. I wouldn't be surprised if Saquon Barkley throws a ball in this game, a little Philly special situation type. So
he definitely could. But I think this is an offensive line that the Chiefs have never seen, right? Like, I mean, James Cook looked pretty good against them.
Yeah,
and
when they gave him the freaking
when they
ball.
gave him the ball. But the Eagles aren't going to make that mistake, right? Here's the game plan for Philadelphia. I'm going to spoil it right now for you. It's hand it off. Get the ball in Saquon's hands as much as he can. He has a week off. Saquon Barkley has probably marched into Nick Sirianni's office and said, if I don't touch the ball 30 times this game, I'll fight you. Like, Saquon is going to touch the ball an ungodly amount this game.
I hope so. I hope so. He only had 15 carries in the conference championship game, but that was
all he needed.
Well, yeah, I was about to say it was kind of twofold. One was the team didn't need it, right? That they were winning, they were blowing out Washington, and also kind of in that same mix there, Steve, is the situation. He had a little bit of a calf cramp going on, so they weren't going to rush him back, and they're giving Gainwell and Will Shipley some run towards the end of that game. So
yeah,
I'm with you. Let's not overthink this one. I think it's a good play for you. So, guys, those are our Super Bowl best bets.